some ladies to join you on this. Our small business all-stars join us, Amelia Antonetti, CEO of AMA Enterprise, and Jen Groover of Jen Groover Productions, and from Los Angeles, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. You got to get a company in there, Leslie, so that we can promote that as well. Good to see you, Leslie. Well, Leslie, let me start with you. Like it or not, the impression that most people have now, particularly the voters, is that big government is a hindrance to the American dream, however that's defined, not a help to it. That's changed over the past couple of years. So how do you as a Democrat deal with that, the fact that the American public think that we have too much government, not the other way around?
Although I'm an American and I love people, I think that they're very hypocritical. They got their hand out for unemployment checks. They've got their hand out for Medicare. They've got their hand out for Social Security. Did they scream loud enough when a former administration and both Democrats and Republicans agreed to a government bailout of the private sector? I'm not sure Americans know what they want. I think what they do is they latch onto polls, they latch onto sound bites, and right now, perception is reality. And when they look at the unemployment numbers and they look at their bank accounts, they're frustrated. Then again, Rome wasn't built in a day, and the president, anybody, right or left, never said that spending to stimulate the economy was going to be done in 18 months.
Well, that's true, but the patience has clearly run out. I mean, by the administration's by the administration's own standard, they said it wouldn't go above 8%. But Amelia, the fact is that what I love about Leslie, she's honest. She's not running for everything, so she can call the voters hypocrites for feeling the way they do. But for whatever reason they feel the way they do, this is not going to change, at least through the election in November, is it? This dislike for big government that Ronald Reagan was talking about?
No, I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get worse as the evidence is around.
Or better, depending on how you view things.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we just a big announcement. You know, we've got a bunch of the grocery stores here closing. I mean, we were talking about this last week that consumers are seeing more, for sale zones. They're seeing businesses go belly up. They're seeing their bank accounts shrink. They're holding on to cash. They're talking about, the simple things in life, trying to get ready for school. Government is supposed to be taking down walls to let businesses thrive, not put the wall blocks up. Yeah. So they've got the message all wrong.
Jen, I was talking all day to retail people because, of course, some indicators are the retail industry is going to be very bad right up until the Christmas holidays, maybe with a slight exception with the back to school right at Labor Day. So you have all of the negative effects of the current economy on what affects people's lives. I mean, their day-to-day lives, what they see is very depressing.
Yeah, like we said last week, going into the fourth quarter, business owners want to believe and retailers want to believe we're going to have a nice shot here because our numbers did not look good this whole year. And that's a scary thing. What I think this strategy, using this Reagan parallel to this time and talking about the American dream and bringing it back is an amazing thing because we're going to bring back the focus on small business owners as the backbone and the rock stars of our country that really are the thing that has to make them thrive. The whole thing with Reagan and bringing this focus in allows people to see this is what we started with. And if we ruin this, we're going to go downhill for it. So it's amazing branding strategy.
And Bill, again, that was Reagan's real focus, wasn't it? That small and mid-sized, the whole idea of the supply side revolution was to lower regulations, lower tax rates on the small and mid-sized companies so they could get on their feet because they were the biggest innovators. They were the people who hired most of the Americans looking for a job.
Ronald Reagan, Dixon, Illinois, took us back to the founders, the belief that this was a commercial republic, and it's a small business.
Not a corporate republic, but a commercial.
A commercial republic. And these guys, the Obama crowd, and I know this crowd because I lived in universities for years, they believe they're smarter. They really do believe they're smarter than the business people. They certainly believe they're smarter than anybody in a Tea Party or a conservative. And they believe they have a more enlightened approach, and that is to hold the people under their tutelage. They will tell them what to do, and then things will work out fine. Problem with central planning is what central planning does, and the record is not very good as the world goes.
Leslie, Bill brings up another point, which a lot of people on the left of Barack Obama are talking about now, which is that he's too corporate. His focus is too much on the corporate sphere of business, not the small and mid-sized business. He brings in these big corporate bigwigs. He's seen as one of the biggest contributors or one of the biggest recipients of aid from BP, and maybe he was too soft on BP in the beginning of the oil spill. He's listening too much to the corporate side of business and not to the small and mid-sized business. Even left-wingers are saying that about him now, no?
Okay, well, I don't want to slam Bill, but I don't think most of us who are the Obamaites like myself were in college with you, Bill. But anyway, I'll tell you, you said something about your age, okay, at the beginning. I just had to get you for that.
That's fine.
And being that I'm one of the smarter liberal Obama Democrats or Clinton Democrats that knows all, I certainly don't know all. But I do have to tell you this. When it comes to corporations and corporate America, yes, there are those that are independents and those Democrats, even myself, that get tired of corporate America running our government. But quite frankly, capitalism is America's God, and corporations, private corporations, have been running this country for years. This is not a Democrat or Republican
Well, let me just stop you, Leslie. God is America's God. Corporations are not America's God. God is America's God, and Americans got that straight.
On what? On a dollar bill.
They look, and Jen, I'll throw this to you. They look, the American voters, at particularly the Democrats and independents who we're talking about, at all the bonuses that the big guys got, the banks, this financial reg bill. Apparently, the big banks, Goldman Sachs and the others, put billions of dollars to get their little carve-outs from this bill. And of course, we saw on the TARP spending, which in full fairness, was started by the Bush people. But Obama continued apace with that. There have been so many benefits to the big guys and not nearly enough for the small guys.
Right. The scariest message about that is most people associate rich, and the messaging that's coming out now that was in that video, rich people are the bad people. And the reality is rich people are the people, the majority of them are the people that created millions of jobs for other people.
Where are they?
And they're mostly the philanthropic.
Where are the jobs?
Well, that's the problem. Right now, we're being held back on our small businesses create the backbone, they create the jobs, they create the innovation, they create opportunity. And the reality is, if the message is rich people are bad, that's the small business owners who would risk everything, could have gone broke and could have gone bankrupt to create the innovation.
Right. And Amelia, the fact is that a lot of people who are called rich, who might have $1 million according to the bank accounts, are small business people that put every penny that they have back in their business. They're not the rich. I'm not talking about the corporate billionaires, the Goldman Sachs folks down on Wall Street, but the small business folks. I don't consider them rich, even though their bank account might define them as rich.
No, because entrepreneurs pay themselves last. Everybody else gets paid first. Every dollar goes into building their business. I mean, their big payout is at the end when they finally exit. But as you continue to strap on more rules and regulations, the exit gets smaller and smaller. So that's why they're not releasing their cash.
Final word to Bill Bennett.
Well, despite Leslie's comments about my advanced age, which I call maturity, Leslie.
That's right.
Yeah. And wisdom. And wisdom.
Reagan turned that one around. You of Reagan's comment to Mondale. But let's give Leslie this point. Who was it who said the problem with socialism is socialism, the problem with capitalism is capitalists? She's right about some capitalists going to Washington as soon as anything goes wrong and saying, just bail us out. And a lot of small business owners were not happy about that because they don't get those opportunities.
They certainly did.
So there is some error here, and we can do some sorting out of our own.
Bill Bennett, Amelia Antonetti, Jen Groover, Leslie Marshall.